Are award shows just platforms for performative politics? When I tuned in to watch the Grammys earlier this year, I found myself nodding along to statements made by Bad Bunny and Olivia Dean.
We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans and we are Americans.
Yes, I want to say I'm up here as a granddaughter of an immigrant. Yeah, I'm a product of bravery, and I think those people deserve to be celebrated.
And just recently, at the 2026 Oscars, when actor Javier Bardem took the stage, he didn't hold back.
No to war and free Palestine.
Award shows have always been political. Actors recognize that the spotlight offers them a chance to address causes that matter to them, and a whole lot of people tune in. Over 19.7 million people watched the Oscars in 2025, marking a 5-year high in viewership and ratings. And in early 2026, the Grammys reached a viewership of 14.4 million. For reference, that's nearly 5 times as many viewers as Fox News draws during prime time, and roughly 7 times the audience of PBS NewsHour, which typically averages 2 million viewers on weeknights. But for every viewer at home nodding along to these political statements, there's another rolling their eyes. To some, artists can seem out of touch or quick to speak on issues that don't directly affect them, with little direct political power of their own. So, when artists step up to the mic, are they actually contributing to meaningful political change? If you've taken an introductory political science course before, you may be familiar with the term political efficacy. It's essentially a measure of how much trust you have in your own political voice and in the system's responsiveness to it. Here's the thing. A lot of people feel low political efficacy right now.
According to a recent Pew Research Center study, just 17% of Americans say they trust the federal government to act in their best interest.
And in 2015, a different study found that as many as 47% of Americans believe there's not much ordinary citizens can do to influence the government. Sure, you might vote or read the news or care deeply about specific issues, but that doesn't necessarily translate into feeling represented by government. And when people believe they're shut out of traditional political processes, they often turn to culture, to music, to movies, to feel seen. When we stream artists' music or watch their films and then tune in as they take the stage at these award shows, we're already listening to them, making award show stages a place where artists, musicians, and actors have historically brought demands for cultural and political change. One of the most iconic examples, in 2003, accepting his award for his documentary Bowling for Columbine, filmmaker Micheal Moore declared,
We live in a time where we have a man sending us to war for fictitious reasons.
Moore directly criticized President George W. Bush and the Iraq War.
We are against this war, Mr. Bush. Shame on you, Mr. Bush. Shame on you.
And at the 2026 Golden Globes, Mark Ruffalo was asked by USA Today about the Be Good pin he was wearing.
For Renee Nicole Good, who was murdered.
Why do you feel that this platform is still useful to spread a message like this?
Listen, I want to pretend like I want to be here to celebrate, and I am here to celebrate, and I'm proud to have a Golden Globe nomination. But also, this is not normal anymore. And so I don't know how I can be quiet.
Even as artists leverage these moments to call attention to injustice and systemic problems, many Americans still feel politically demoralized, uncertain whether their voices or the messages at these shows can make a real difference. A potential solution? Highlighting real policies. In 2018, amidst the momentum of the Me Too movement, actress Frances McDormand used her acceptance speech to push reform in industry practices.
To tell and projects we need finance. Don't talk to us about it at the parties tonight. Invite us into your office in a couple days, or you can come to ours, whichever suits you best, and we'll tell you all about them. I have 2 words to leave with you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Inclusion rider.
The term inclusion rider refers to a contractual clause that allows actors to require diversity in casting and crew hiring. Rather than simply calling out gender inequality in Hollywood, she pointed to a concrete policy that could actually change practices. And it worked. Less than a year after McDormand's speech, Time's Up 4% Challenge encouraged dozens of producers and studios to work with female directors. Award shows enable artists to amplify opinions and values of audiences at home who may not have a platform. And when these moments lead to real-world change, the award show stage can feel more responsive than the institutions designed to represent us. Of course, the FCC, or Federal Communications Commission, has some control over what can be said on stage. Networks are also aware of potential backlash from sponsors or viewers when speeches may veer into controversial political territory. Take the 1974 Academy Awards, when the anti-Vietnam War film Hearts and Minds won Best Documentary.
Thank you so much. It's ironic, of course, to get a prize for a war movie while the suffering in Vietnam continues.
Producers Peter Davis and Bert Schneider went so far as to read a telegram from the Viet Cong on stage.
I will now read a short wire that I've been asked to read by the Vietnamese people.
The Academy's response was immediate. It clarified that it was not responsible for any political references made on the program. So while the stage temporarily functioned as a platform for dissent, the organization quickly reasserted its authority, distancing itself from the contents of the speech and reminding artists of the limits of their platform. And more recently, at the 2026 Academy Awards, Jimmy Kimmel, who was abruptly pulled off air last fall for a comment about the assassination of the right-wing activist Charlie Kirk, called out corporate censorship.
You know, there are some countries whose leaders don't support free speech. I'm not at liberty to say which. Let's just leave it at North Korea and CBS.
This kind of controversy helps explain why some argue that politics don't belong at award shows.
If you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world.
During the 2020 Golden Globes, host Ricky Gervais emphasized that audiences tune in for entertainment, not for political speeches. And he called out the disconnect between Hollywood's elite and the real world they claim to speak for. But the backlash doesn't stop there. Conservative critics have increasingly labeled award shows as woke. In 2021, President Trump issued a statement criticizing what he called the Oscars' politically correct and boring tone, pointing to low television ratings and accusing broadcast networks of promoting the Democratic Party. Recent political statements made at the Oscars and Grammys reinforce the perception that these spaces lean left. And while there are few examples of conservative critics taking the stage to speak up about their beliefs, pushback does come from commentators online. After Billie Eilish condemned ICE at the 2026 Grammys, influencer Jake Paul tweeted, "When Billie Eilish gets her home broken into, it's not going to be F ICE, I can promise you that." He also mocked her comment about stolen land, joking that her Los Angeles home sits on indigenous territory, ridiculing her political position rather than engaging with it seriously. Still, the stage itself is not reserved for one ideology, and while pushback from the industry and from viewers can shape what artists say, it does not erase the potential for meaningful political change. In such a fragmented media environment, award shows are one of the few moments of shared national and global attention. That concentration of viewership gives artists, musicians, and actors an unusual kind of power. The ability to make millions of people feel recognized, even if they don't draft legislation or pass laws. When Bad Bunny gets up on stage and declares,
"We are humans and we are Americans,"
he's not proposing a specific immigration policy in legislative terms, but he is offering recognition to immigrant communities who may feel targeted or dehumanized by recent ICE enforcement actions. So next time you tune into the Oscars or the Grammys or the Golden Globes, pay attention to those acceptance speeches. Listen to what's being said between the appreciations and acknowledgments.
Everyone watching right now around the world is all too aware that these are very chaotic, frightening times.
2026 Oscars host Conan O'Brien.
Let us celebrate Not because we think all is well, but because we work and hope for better.
Sure, artists may seem privileged or hypocritical at times, but that doesn't make their political messages any less powerful. Speaking up at these award shows is a political act in itself.